Hi guys, welcome on my YouTube channel Crochet Pink Pumpkin and on episode 3 of Easy Peasy Crochet Christmas Ornament, a series of 3 and easy crochet patterns and tutorial just for Christmas. And today we are making the mini bags. I don't know if you already saw on my YouTube channel or on Instagram, I made a big version of this bag to wear and I wanted to make a mini version to put in my Christmas tree, so there we go. As you can tell, I made two. I made one with acrylic yarn and one with fluffy yarn. If you are a crochet beginner, I recommend you to make the one on the left, which I will call bag number 1 because it's way easier than with fluffy yarn because stitches are way less visible with fluffy yarn. So I recommend you to make the one on the left. And because the pattern, the crochet pattern is exactly the same for both, I will show you in the tutorial the bag number 1, because if you see bag number 1, you can make bag number 2 is the same crochet pattern. And by the way, you can find the crochet pattern in the description, like the written version. So let's get started with the supplies. So if you want to make bag number 1, you will need the acrylic yarn Charisma from Michaels store. The color is white and the jauge is number 5, bulky. I think it's an exclusivity from Michaels stores because it's the brand Loops and Thread, and I think it's only sold at Michaels. And I doubled it with sequins gold thread from Hobby Lobby. The result is just so pretty. It's perfect for the holidays. And if you need more details about these yarns, it's in the description box. Then for bag number 2, I chose a Sherpa teddy yarn, something very fluffy. The jauge is, I believe, 6, super bulky. The yarn is Berna and the color is Cottontail. And I doubled it to make the bag stiffer. You don't have to double it, but I like, the bag to be a little bit stiffer. So I doubled it with acrylic yarn, like a regular white acrylic yarn from Hobby Lobby. It's called I Love This Yarn. Then for both bag, you will need the hook number 6 millimeters. Then you will need darning needles, a lap counter and sewing clips. So if you want to make the tag, just so you know, the Amazon links are in the description box. If you need any supplies, you can click on the link. And you will need a small piece of textile or fabric, black fabric. I use all black t-shirt because it's very small. You only need like 4 inches by 2 approximately, so it's very small. Then you will need a light permanent marker to draw the earth on the fabric. Then you will need craft glue. I always use the Elmer's craft bond. I think it's the best for craft. Honestly, it's very easy to remove. I always use that one. And then you will need gold glitters. Honestly, the little box that I use in the video, I don't know where it come from, so I found you something similar on Amazon. And you will need, I think it was like holographic, like it's like super shiny. And yeah, that's it. So you will find the written pattern in the description of the video. It's the same for both bags. In the video you will only see the one made with acrylic yarn because the stitches are more visible, but if you decide to make the fluffy one, it's exactly the same pattern. If sometimes the video goes too fast, you can slow it down in the YouTube reader settings. And the video will show rounds after rounds, but for example, if the rounds are the same for more than 2 rounds, I will only show you the first one and the last one. Let's get started. So we are starting with the main part, and you will start by making 12 chain stitches plus 1 turning chain. A turning chain is 1 chain stitches that you use to turn and go to the next row. So I will show you. So you make 12. There you go. And 1 chain stitch that you will use to turn. this one. So you won't use it, you only use it to turn and you don't crochet in it. So now you are starting a new row and you are making one single crochet in each of the previous chain stitches, and as I say, don't crochet in the turning chain. So that was your first row, and now you will do 28 more exactly the same way, one single crochet in each of the previous stitches. So once you are done, you will do single crochets all along the long edges, so these ones, and slip stitches along the short edges, so these ones. So there we go, we are almost done. I like doing that when I make rectangles or square because you really create a frame with straight edges. So I really like the result. Is very very straight and very defined. So you can cut the thread like that and make a knot, you know, like classic finish. And you should have something that look like this, hopefully. So now we will start one piece that's gonna become the bottom and the gousset of the bags once it's sewed together, but it's only one piece. So you start by making a chain of 4 chain stitches plus 1 turning chain. So as I told you before, the turning chain is just to turn. You won't use it for anything else, just to turn. So 4 chain stitches, sorry. And there you go, and 1 turning chain. Then you will do 1 single crochet in each previous stitch, but do not crochet the turning chain, only the previous regular chain stitches that you made. That's it. Never, not in this pattern, in the turning chain. And this is your first row. And you will do the exact same thing for 30 other rows. So same thing, 1 single crochet in each previous stitches for 30 times more. So this is the last one. There you go. So you should have something that looks like that, and you can classic finish, like just cut the thread and make a knot. And finally we are making the handle, so you will need to make 2 handles. So I show you for one and you will do the same thing for the second one. So you start by making 40 chain stitches plus 1 turning chain. So as I told you, it's always the same thing over and over. It's chain stitches and single crochet in the chain. It's a very easy pattern. So let's get started with our 40. There we go, we made our 40 chain stitches, we make the turning chain, and next row we make 1 single crochet in each of the previous chain stitches. Do not crochet the turning chain. There we go, so 40 single crochet. On the way back, So this was row number 1 of single crochet. You do a second row of single crochet, so total 2 rows of single crochet for the handles, and then you can cut the thread and make a knot. And now you are done with the first handle. Don't forget to make the second one because you will need to. So now I will show you how to make the tag. You will need a small piece of fabric, very small. I used the old t-shirt, and with a permanent marker or whatever you have to draw on fabric, you make a rectangle of 2 inches by par 1 inch. So on the side is 1 inch like that, and it's 2 inches right here. So once you are done with your rectangle, you take your craft glue and you will draw a line on, oops, sorry, such a mess. And you will draw a line right here. And you will fold on this line. So I use this technique just to make the edges straight, because if you directly like use the scissors, is like the edges are not very nice. So on the other side, same thing. So like that, that's how it should look like. So wait until it dries, and then you come draw your heart like that. So I'm not an artist, I'm letting you know. And then you come and apply the glue on it, like you will see with I use a darning needle. Yeah, I'm really not an artist, I don't have the tools. So you see, like I just sprayed the glue all over the heart, because after you will come put your glitters on it. So that's why right here try to make it nice, not too thick. Voila. Then you take your glitters, and I use I use something for my nails, like a little spoon that I use to make my nails, and you drop the glitters on it, and it will start sticking where the glue is. So this is my technique. I'm not an expert. So there you go. Wait until it dries, and you can remove all the remaining glitters. I blow on it a little bit too. Now we will start to assemble the bag. So this is the sewing part, and so you take the main part, and see here, this is the front side. You turn it to the back side. The back side is where the single crochets are not very visible. Sorry, it's late. It's like 11 p.m. I don't know how to talk anymore. And you start putting the bottom of the bag and the gooses on the side like that, so you create like a cross, and make sure it's in the middle. I used the ruler just to make sure it was perfectly in the middle, and then you can sew it. now you are done with the bottom, you will turn again your main part on the front side, and you will place the handles like on the video. Like, I don't know how to explain, I just show you where to place them like that. So this is the first handle. We start with the first one. And once you are like satisfied with the placement, you can start sewing them. So you will see on the video I made like 2 lines of seams, one on the outside of the handles and one seams in the inside. So you will see on the video. So once you are done with one side, you can do the other side exactly the same. So there you go. It's magical. I already did it. And then I place the second handle. So this one, the sewing is gonna be a little bit different because we will place the tag. So I don't want us to sew the inside of the handle yet. I will show you with the darning needle where we should start sewing. So once you are done with your placement, look, so I want you to sew right here on the outside, right here, but not in the inside, just the outside. So let's get started. So once you are done with the outside part, we will come place the tag. So I placed it first without the glue, just, to make sure it was correct. And then you will add some glue on the back of your tag. So I put a lot just to make sure it stays in place. And then you will come place it between the 2 handles right here and make sure like it goes well on top of it after, just to block the tag. You see, like the handles go on top of the tag. There you go. Voila. So the tag is placed, and And now we can finish the sewing of the handle, so you can sew like the inside. Make sure to not sew on the tag, because I mean you cannot even like go through the fabric, I think, with a darning needle. So anyway, so just finish the sewing of the handles. So now we are done with the handles. We will start sewing the gooses, the sides of the bag to the main part. So you will see it's what makes it a bag. So I'll let you watch the video. I don't really know how to describe what I did. So you just like sew the sides, like to the main part, and it will close the bag. So now we are done. The bag should look like a bag. Hopefully you can cut all the remaining threads, make sure nothing is out. And I just attached a small gold thread just to make sure you can put it in the Christmas tree. So this is how I did it. I made a knot and I double the thread. I made a knot, and then it creates a loop, and you pass the ends in the loops like that, and voila, you can attach it to the Christmas tree. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget, you can ask me any question in the comment section. I will be happy to answer. I wish you happy holidays, and don't forget to subscribe for more crochet tutorials. Bye bye!